The Detroit Pistons have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 1, winning 111 to 101. There was a lot of interesting things to look at, interesting things to talk about between them two teams in Game 1. And in this video, we will analyse what went well for the Detroit Pistons and what didn't go so well for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's start the video analysis. The first play, Ausar Thompson has the ball. Cade Cunningham is being guarded by Dean Wade as he was all night. Jalen Duren sets a screen for him to get free from Wade, but Wade does a good job to stick with him. Cade gets the pass and Duren sets another screen to get Cade free. Cade at the top of the key, he shoots the free and he drains it. Cade initiating the offense here, he receives two screens, one from Duren, the other from Duncan Robinson. Cade goes left, gets a screen from Duncan Robinson and switches onto Harden, but he sees Duncan Robinson is open at the top of the key. Robinson is a lights out 3-point shooter and he hits the free. Once again, Wade is tight to Cade. Duren sets a screen for Cade to get free and he gets the ball. Cade receives another screen at the top of the key, goes left, gets Wade on his back. Allen is playing drop coverage and Cade goes to his midi. Here's an example of Detroit work without the ball. Denise Jenkins gets a steal on Sam Merrill and he lays it up on the other end. Ausar with the dribble handoff for Jenkins. A double screen is set with both Duren and Ausar. This opens the lane for Jenkins to get into the high post and he gets to his midi. Detroit played fast all night and here's another example. Jenkins drives the ball up the court. There's a lane open between Mobley and Sam Merrill. Isaiah Stewart realizes this and he sets a screen on Dennis Schroeder for Jenkins to get to the lane and drive for a layup. Another example of playing fast, Ausar with the ball, he passes it to Caris LeVert and relocates to the corner. Caris LeVert then attacks the paint and Strus has to come over and help Sam Merrill. Caris LeVert sees this and finds Ausar in the corner, who attacks the pass. He drives to the rim. Strus is not able to recover and Schroeder is able to come over and help. This leaves Stewart free in the paint for an easy 2 points. Jalen Duren with a midi here. We need him to be a lot more aggressive in this series. Ausar sees a lane to the right. Cade gets ready to set a screen for him. A slight hezzy leaves Mobley undecided which way Ausar is going. He gets caught in the screen. Jalen Tyson does not switch and Ausar shows his athleticism. Stewart with a high screen on Jalen Tyson. Cade goes left. Snake dribbles to the top of the key. Ausar with a good baseline cut and Robinson relocates to the corner. Ausar with some good footwork, spins and gets in the air. This makes Thomas Bryan go for a block, but Thompson plays the pocket pass to Stewart. He throws it down with 2 hands. Another example of Stewart's IQ here. He sets a flare screen for Robinson to get free. He shoots the ball and he was a hot hand for Detroit all night long. I wanted to highlight this block from Ausar because it just shows the level of athleticism from him. This possession highlights James Harden's lack of awareness off ball. Gets beaten way too easily by Duncan Robinson. He does not box out Ausar. There are 3 sets of eyes on 2 players and Detroit's best 3-point shooter is left wide open. I mean, just look at Cade Cunningham shutting down James Harden here. This is your star player locking up a future Hall of Famer. And then to close the third quarter, Ron Holland does this. It just shifted the momentum big time. Duren with an offensive rebound and once again Duncan Robinson is wide open. Cade's gravity is on display here. He drives right and attracts both Keon Ellis and Donovan Mitchell. Duncan Robinson is free at the top of the key and Cade swings the rock to him. Mitchell closes out Robinson with the fear of the free ball going up, but Robinson attacks that lead foot and gets the and one. Cade does well to relocate to the wing to open up space for Robinson. A good example of Duren's defensive ability as Harden gets free from Cade and Robinson. Duren comes over and gets the block, but the awareness from Tobias Harris to go out and box Allen even if Duren does not get the block shows the fine margins the Pistons excel at and win games in. A pick and roll action here with Cade and Duren. Cade gets the screen, attacks the paint. Harden, Wade and Allen all go up trying to get a steal or block. This leaves Duren open in the dunker spot for an easy 2. And it is something similar here once again. But Cade attacks the paint, has Strus on him, gets him and Allen to jump once again, leaving Duren open for another easy dunk. Cade and Duren's chemistry on display here, not allowing the Cavs defense to settle. And to close out the game, you have your star taking another star 1v1, getting to his spot and hitting the midi. I mean, this game from the Detroit Pistons, it was kind of a weird game because they started the game very well. They were up, I believe, by 18 or 20 points, something like that. Then there was a point where it was a tied game. And I feel like a big part of why the Detroit Pistons are able to kind of get these big leads, but also why they lose these leads, is because the on and off of Cade Cunningham is something brutal, is something big, because when Cade goes off the floor, you can see there is a lack of guard play. There is someone who's not able to create the looks that he creates. I mean, Cade Cunningham is an all-star for a reason, and he is going to be in the All-NBA for a reason, but I feel like that lack of guard play and that lack of just that lack of guard play is very tough to find. But this is why you have a star in Cade Cunningham, and he's playing 40 plus minutes tonight. I mean, last night he played 41 minutes. I want to give a huge shout out to Denise Jenkins. He did not have a great first round, but he bounced back tonight and he got 12 points. Once again, Duncan Robinson, he was the hot hand. During the first round, he was kind of hot and cold, but tonight 19 points. He kept on getting free. He was shooting the ball. He was 5 from 8 on 3-pointers, and it's very important for him to get hot because they do not have a lot of 3-point shooters, right? It's between him, Cade, and Tobias Harris, and you need one of them free, or you need 2 of them free to get hot, and another one to have a decent night. Tobias Harris with 20 points, we saw what he can do in round 1. But I know this videotape does not really show a lot of the defensive abilities of the Detroit Pistons, because a lot of the highlights nowadays just show the offense. But I wanted to talk about Detroit's defense and what they forced, this Cavs team to have. They forced this Cavs team to have 19 turnovers, right? And when you're looking at who had the most turnovers, you had James Harden with 7. You had Mitchell with 3. You have Schroeder with 4. Those are your 3 guards. Those are probably your 3 guards that are going to play the most minutes, and altogether they have a combined 14 turnovers out of the 19 turnovers. They got dominated on the offensive board with a total of 16-11, and that led to a lot of second chance points. But this Detroit team, if you give them anything, if you give them a steal, if you give them a block, they will feed off it. This is a young team with a lot of energy, with a lot of athleticism, with a lot of hunger to go out and prove out to the world that they are the number 1 seed for a reason. A lot of people wrote them off as the number 1 seed, especially after going 3-1 down to the Orlando Magic. But guess what? They bounced back and they showed that the levels that they can play at, and they're beating this Cleveland Cavaliers team where a lot of people after the Harden trade saw them going to the Eastern Conference Finals as a minimum. And this team, this Cavaliers team, is one of the strongest teams. Is one of the stronger Cavs team we've seen in a while. If you're looking at their roster alone, you have James Harden, who you made a big trade for during the January-February deadline in order for him to come in and pair Donovan Mitchell. Along with Donovan Mitchell, you have 2 centers. You have your 2 bigs in Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. Yes, Allen got into foul trouble early, and you will need him to be aggressive in the next game if they do want to get a result. But you have Evan Mobley, you have Jarrett Allen, and then at the 3 you have Dean Wade. But off the bench, you have Jalen Tyson, you have Keon Ellis, is someone who you made a move for. You have Dennis Schroeder, again, is someone who you made a move for. You have Sam Merrill, Max Strus, these guys will give you the productivity that you need from bench guys. But it's up to your stars like James Harden, it's up to your stars like Donovan Mitchell in order for them to produce and get big buckets. If you're going to be a liability on defense, which a lot of the time James Harden is going to be, and Donovan Mitchell as well, you have to make it up by getting 30 plus points tonight. Or if you can't get 30 plus points tonight, get other people involved and allow your team to make winning plays, but it's you that is initiating those winning plays. But last night they didn't do it. Donovan Mitchell, he had a decent start and he did hit some big threes from time to time. But from James Harden, yes, he ended with 22 points, but way too many turnovers. He had 7 turnovers. He was getting the ball stolen from him way too easily, and some of the decisions, sometimes I like him to be a lot more aggressive. There's a lot of the times where he's looking to pass. Instead, he should try to attack, try to draw the foul, try to get the and one, or if you do have a chance to shoot the free ball. You are one of the best 3-point shooters the NBA has ever seen. Make sure you're shooting, because would you rather have Dean Wade shoot 10 shots, or Sam Merrill shoot 10 shots, or Max Strus shoots 10 shots, or James Harden get 20, 25? Because last night he only had 15 shots, and that's not enough, especially in a playoff series. That is not enough for James Harden to have. I could give some sort of I feel for Donovan Mitchell, kind of, because I feel like he wasn't that bad. He was shooting 4 from 10 from 3-point range, and he did try to get his rhythm going. But one thing that the Pistons done very well is that they forced him left, and when they forced him left, he wasn't able to attack. He wasn't able to get the usual looks that he was getting during the regular season, and it's something that the Pistons have looked at during film and said, you know what, force him left. We know he can't go left. If he goes left, we're most likely either going to get a stop or we're going to force him into a tough shot. So that's a shout out to JB Bickerstaff and his team, and the way that they've kind of done their pre-game analysis and they've looked at the pros and cons of, you know, letting Donovan Mitchell have the ball, letting James Harden have the ball, and they kind of feed into that, because at the end of the day, for the Pistons, their defense is their identity, right? You rarely see them get a high scoring game, but you also rarely see the other team get a high scoring game because their defense is their identity. And when you're looking at your star player, Cade Cunningham, I don't know if you guys remember one of the clips where he locked up James Harden. He was doing that all night long, you know. He was guarding James Harden as soon as the game started, and you know, he was a big reason as to why James Harden did get a few turnovers, because his aggressiveness defensively is very important. And yes, he didn't have the greatest shooting night. He shot 6 from 19 on the field. But what Cade Cunningham does is he gives you winning plays. When he's not shooting great, he will find his teammates. He got about 7 assists. And if he's not shooting great, what does he do? At the very least, he plays very good defense, as we saw with James Harden. But this game, it was a team effort, really. I feel like Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, Cade Cunningham, they all came alive. Azor Thompson with 4 offensive boards, you know, he had a block, he had a steal. It's just the little things that these guys do that makes it a 2-point game, a 3-point game, and it kind of adds up. And after, when it adds up, that's where the leads get bigger, and that's where you kind of lose these playoff games. It's in the fine margins. Someone like Denise Jenkins, who didn't have a great first round, he's came up and he's stepped up. Someone like Ron Holland, who didn't get that much minutes in the first round, he had 6 points. You know, these are the small things that a winning team does. They have players that are ready to play and players that are ready to step up. One thing that I would say, I need Jalen Duren to be a lot more aggressive. He only shot 11 shots and he didn't shoot any threes. He didn't really shoot any middies. That we saw him shoot 1, but he didn't really be aggressive enough. And I get there sometimes playing the double big, but at the end of the day, you're in these conversations to get paid a lot of money, and the reason why you're going to get paid a lot of money is not because of what you've done in the regular season, it's because of what you're going to be doing in the postseason. And right now, the Detroit Pistons have aspirations of winning a championship, of going all the way to the finals and facing the best teams, and they are the number 1 seed for a reason. And Jalen Duren did have a big reason to play in that, but now it's for him to prove that during the postseason. But anyways, it was a great game. I can't wait to watch all of this series. I'm a big Pistons fan. I like the way they play, I like their coach, I like their players, and I like the way that they've bounced back from from a few years ago where a lot of them were saying, is Cade a number 1 pick? Can he transform this franchise? And what we're seeing from Cade right now is someone that's selfless. He's playing on a collapsed lung, you know. He had a collapsed lung. He came back early just to make sure that his team have him in the playoffs, and you know, you can literally see his strapping around his lungs and he's still playing. So shout out to Cade Cunningham and shout out to Detroit Pistons. The Cavs have a lot of work to do if they're going to come out and play like this every night, which they won't do, but if they come out and play like this every night, they are going to lose in 5 games or 4 games or 6 games, but they are going to lose. So who knows, man. This Cavs team was built to win right now. They are above the cap space. Their owner is paying a lot of money in order to allow their team to function the way it is. And they have to win. They have to find the win. And it starts with your star players. James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. It's up to those 4 really. Because the rest of them, someone like Max Strus, for example, he stepped up last night. But I guess we have to wait and see for the rest of the games. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like. If you guys do have any thoughts on my analysis of anything what I said, or if there's any ways I can improve these videos, make sure to comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I've been your boy Najib Talk Suns, and I'm out. Peace.